Welcome back, GWB Family. Today we're trying out a new format. We're going to call it TAC TALK. My name's Tyler.
I'm Jose.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Chris. And today we wanted to bring you guys a discussion that most of you guys have probably already heard about, but we wanted to give our own opinions on it, have a little bit of a round table discussion, even though we're on a rectangle. But we have our own opinions on it, we have our own views on it, and maybe some things that you may have not thought of. And if you haven't heard about this, what we're going to be discussing today is the major credit card companies that are going to be putting out a new code for stores that are selling guns. Now, there's not a whole lot of information about specifically what stores are going to be out there or they're going to put this code for. So, think about it this way. Walmart sells guns. Mm-hmm. So is that whole store now going to have a code, or is it just going to be mom and pop gun shop, Shooter's World, Academy Firearms, things like that? These are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about and trying to discuss. So, I kind of don't really know exactly what they're going to do, but I'll tell you what, guys, it definitely makes me a little worried. If I go buy groceries at Walmart, am I going to be flagged down now? Do I have to buy cash at everywhere that has a gun in there?
I mean, that's kind of what it seems that it's going that way. Now, I did read something that was saying that for department stores like Walmart, those are the only ones who might not issue it because they're so large that it will be your local small mom and pop shops. But at the end of the day, guys, the way I look at it, it's the start of a registry. It's a way to put all of us on a list. So yeah, I might have to start carrying a lot more cash around, because if just buying ammo to the range, and now you're gonna have to go and get put on a list, a special code, and now you're in this special computer.
Especially bulk buyers. People who are buying thousands of rounds.
Yeah, and how many rounds will it take to flag you?
Well, you got to think, it depends on your frequency in which you shoot. Okay, so the weekend warrior maybe goes through a box of 100 every 2 or 3 weeks, but there's competition shooters out there that go through thousands of rounds in a week just preparing for a match, let alone what you shoot in a match. Or some of the classes that we've been looking at, it says come with 8,000 rounds of ammo. Most people can't just go and buy 1,000 rounds somewhere. Yeah.
Well, and see, the way I was kind of thinking about it was that I was thinking that as soon as they ran the credit card itself, it would automatically flag it for whatever type of purchase that it is. So like you said, every store having a code, I was thinking breaking it down more into every single transaction itself. If it even had, the store would have to set up a code that if something was bought, it would automatically go this way, right into Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Everyone is, automatically going to hit that code if you buy that item, because their systems are set up so weird to where you can, have something flagged. Whenever you buy alcohol, it automatically flags the check if you're 21 or not. So with that same system, if every time you bought ammo or gun and it put that item in a totally separate category, then it would automatically flag it. And then if you did pay with card or Visa or whatever, it would, send it right off to them. Hey, this is what was purchased. This is the line items. This is what, how much of this that they bought, and break it down from there.
So actually that is a big worry about a lot of people, but that's not how this whole system is actually going to be working. From everything that I've learned, is that there's codes already out there for when you go to the hair salon, for when you go to the liquor store, for when you go to a sporting goods store. Nowadays, the only one that's really run by itself is Dick's Sporting Goods. When you go to a grocery store, those are tracking codes to kind of see typically where the money is going, right? What kind of commerce is big and popular, who's selling what, not really items, but what kind of money is flowing through these places. So what you're getting with this code, I can almost remember the code. It's 595 or 5990 or something like that. Yeah, turn your phone off.
I can't.
So what's actually going to happen is that code is going to be designated to a store. That when a store is designated as a firearms sales, firearms accessory sales, stuff like that. That's why it's who knows if Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop is going to be designated as a store that now has to use this code. What is going to happen, and this is a big problem, is that you're going to get, your credit card company is going to see, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, stuff like that. They're going to see that you spent X amount of dollars at a firearms store now. Not, because most of these pawn shops.
Or a store that sells firearms.
Yeah, so mom and pop shops, even Shooter's World, right? I don't know, everybody may or may not know Shooter's World. It's one of the big box gun stores around here.
Yeah.
That was a sporting goods store before this.
Right.
So now it is a firearms store. And the biggest problem with this that a lot of people are kind of having the issues with is, what if you go in, what determines that your purchase is now,
Flaggable.
what are suspicious, right? And so who's to say where the dollar amount is? Who's to say what has to be done to be flagged as suspicious? So
That's what I'm curious about.
yeah, so a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's going to be a high dollar amount. Okay, so you go to Shooters World, you can go to a gun and pawn that now has this code because they're half firearms dealers, and you buy a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 safe. They see that you spent $5,000, $6,000, and they're going to flag that as suspicious now. Possibly.
Possibly.
And you didn't even buy a gun. You bought a safe that something that all of these anti-gunners want for now is for everybody to have to store all their stuff away, taken apart in a safe. You're buying the safe to do it, and now they're flagging you as suspicious.
But they only see the $5,000 purchase.
Yeah, they only see
That's
the dollar figure. They can't look at the individual items that are sold. Even your bank statement can't look at the individual items that are sold. Only your receipt will show that, and only the the
The
storage
amount spent,
receipts will
yeah.
say that. Yeah. So there's no telling where this could actually go with something like that.
Thinking about that. Think about someone. I'm sure, there could be some soul out there who's like this, but someone who doesn't own any guns. They just go to the gun range like Shooters World, and they rent a gun every weekend, and they shoot. So now every week it's on their credit card, and it's showing that they're spending all this money.
Weekly.
Yeah, this guy's he's got a lot of guns, and they go to this dude's house. He's got nothing because he just goes there every week shooting, renting guns, but they can't prove that he's renting a gun. They just see that he's spending that much money. So that guy who's a weekend shooter gets flagged now. That's what you said. What's the limit on it? Who's to put a point on how much ammo or how much a dollar amount?
There's no
spend?
tangible definition for what would be flaggable. The fact that, and I have three main points when it comes to this. This is the three main things that crossed my mind over this whole situation was one, there is no clear defined definition of what's flaggable or not. Two, how much power are we giving our financial institutions to be able to flag a purchase?
Mm-hmm.
That one point right there leads directly into my next, which is if we aren't a credit card company or any type of financial institution that can keep you from buying something, that steps in and that almost diminishes the value of all the other security checks that we have along the way. So if a 4473 isn't going to catch anything, what makes anybody think that the bank is going to catch something?
So I just want to make a quick point on what you were saying. Okay, so the Visa, MasterCard, American Express are separate entities from your bank. They're a mid person, a third person, or whatever you want to call it. So what they're going to do is basically send the code to the bank. This happens within milliseconds, but it sends a code to the bank. The bank sees it and approves or denies the transaction. Now you're going to have a lot of liberal banks, like the one that's being talked about a lot, Amalgamated Bank. I don't know if you guys have heard about that bank. Super liberal, super left wing, in bed with all of these crazy, gun control nuts.
Won't loan to any gun
So
manufacturer.
banks like that are going to see this code and possibly decide, fuck that person, right? But you never know what's going to happen with your bank. So on that front, it's a toss up.
But then again, too, then it's free choice. Well, this bank doesn't allow that. Well, there's another bank that does. But that's a runaround for a small mom and pop shop or somebody like us who's starting out who is going to get kicked out by multiple banks when we go for our first business loan or whatever we need. If that's something that could mess us up, that's almost
Discrimination.
it's discrimination.
It's 100%.
It's just a different form of it.
Mhm.
And like y'all's points is a big box store. Okay, that's not hurting Mrs. Smith that owns Gun and Tackle down the street somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then another point that I thought of was, even if it is a big box store like Dick's or Walmart, they don't sell anything semi-automatic in a rifle like
Dick's doesn't sell guns, period, anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like Dick's, it says enough about you.
But anyways, what I was getting at, like Walmart does, you can buy everything that you could need to furnish a house and a shotgun. But it's the amount, it's the type of guns that they sell there. You're not going to go get a BAR from
Yeah.
Walmart,
But that
So-
also, it kind of it makes me scared for the mom and pop shops
because they're the only ones that are small enough to be touched by it.
Yeah, and affected. And then plus, if let's say Walmart, if it is true, like Walmart, you won't get flagged. People are gonna go to Walmart to get everything that they can if and within reach, and then it's gonna bring less people to those mom and pop shops. So one, like you're diminishing business from these places because people are scared to use their credit cards.
But it's okay because it's a business that they don't agree with.
Exactly. But I mean, it goes around saying cash rules everything, dude. Just like bring your cash. They're not gonna trace you with that.
Well, I think, you guys have made great points about these big box stores, and I really want to harp on the fact that this is only causing a gun registry at this point. Like, that is the only goal.
It's a backdoor.
And,
You know,
and it has
Or
been,
the second that it happens, we have information already gathered and accrued.
yeah, this is like they went and tried to hit a home run with, hey, we want to create this gun registry, and they put it out there, said, let's do it. Now, like you said, a backdoor attempt. Okay, so now we're going to hit little small points. Now we're going to start hitting all the little things that we can accumulate to get to that point.
it's a trickle down.
And
So-
we need to stop with the bullshit and literally, this is complete infringement on everyone. This is looking into purchases. If it's not broken down, item by item and flagging one particular thing, and you're just going to, flag an amount, I think that really does infringe way too far into rights. Like, if you want to flag somebody that goes and spends $6,000, I still think that's an infringement, but that at least makes a little bit more sense in the grand scheme of things. Like, all right, whatever, somebody spending that much on one purchase, I could understand that a little bit more from a legal standpoint.
Until you're the person making that purchase.
Yeah, which, yes, but from a legal standpoint on their end, if they're going to cave in this far, that would make more sense if we're going item by item or super big purchases. But to have everything, every single store that could potentially, like even that Ace that's in Brooksville that has the store in the back that sells guns, like even to have somebody like that that's flagged or to have a purchase flag from there is way too far at this point.
To jump on your wagon, I'm sorry, Chris. To jump on your wagon right there, Wes, to play devil's advocate. One, I've been buying guns with cash for years because I hide most of them from my woman. Two, it doesn't. I'm sorry, I forgot. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so if this is this way with guns, okay, we're Second Amendment guys. This is something that touches us, so we're big on it. What's to say that there's not other things like that already in place? Let's say you got a weird fetish, okay, and then you're buying all kinds of fetish shit online. Is there a certain code?
I don't like that you pointed me out like that. But why me?
Just because.
No, there is though. Because
But you see what I'm
that's
saying?
how they get terrorists.
Right.
Because people, if you're buying, like,
If I'm buying a whole bunch of
fertilizer,
fertilizer and I'm buying
Yeah.
a whole bunch of pipes, and they're like, this guy
Yeah.
doesn't look like he's got a green thumb at all.
So when you're buying shit online, they can look at your individual purchases because all that information's out on the internet. This is affecting the in-store purchases because they already have all the information when you buy shit online.
The point that I'm getting at is that the whole thing is a mute point. As long as there's a 4473, you're not hiding shit from nobody. The government still knows you got it. The fact that we have to now circumvent our financial institutions as another person trying to put a magnifying glass over us, that's ridiculous. If I have to answer to Uncle Sam, that's fine, okay? But I'm not answering to Linda at the fucking teller's office at Bank of fucking Amalgam.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's the 89,000 IRS agents. Bro.
87,000. I just want to make a
Let's get it
point.
correct.
I just want to make a point. If nobody knows this yet, GOA already exposed there is a digital searchable database of everybody who owns a gun. It's a fucking full-blown registry. They're trying to take it down. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. It'll scare the tits off you, let me tell you.
I think this is an
That's what
overall big. This is like when you throw a big net into a school of fish.
That's exactly.
You're not going to get everybody, but you're going to get a bunch of them. And I think that it's just a way to slowly undercut every little freedom that we have.
It's a way to scare people. It's a way to,
But honestly, think about this. If you're a bad guy, you going to go like Google Pay your drug dealer friend that you just bought
they don't use
unregistered.
Cash App.
right? But at the same time, too, nobody's using the criminals that we're trying to prevent these firearms to go to are not carrying around a fucking Chase credit card. They're not carrying around a Bank of America. They're not carrying around anything like that. They're not trying to carry around any type of paper trail. I think T.I. made a whole fucking album about it, matter of fact. So cash is king. Cash will always be king. And I think I heard Mr. Gunzinger talk about this was another attack on that as well. Shout out Mr. Gunzinger, I love your videos. But that was one of his thoughts and opinions on the situation too, that it was a way to kind of kill paper currency, because that's kind of the way that we're going. Once we have a digital currency and stuff like that, then they have a way to track everything that we buy.
Yep.
So today is we don't want you to have guns. Tomorrow is we don't want you to have bread. So once that happens, it that's a whole nother TAC talk, really. You know?
Yeah.
And so I do have a question, just because, play devil's advocate with it. And so, whenever Facebook started cracking down on people, they created Rumble. Do you guys think that at some point they'll have some sort of financial institution that goes completely on the opposite side and says, no, we will not do that?
I don't think there'll be a financial institution that does that, because these lenders have to lend from others.
So, financial institution and credit card manufacturers / users, or whatever you want to call them, like Visa, MasterCard, they're not financial institutions. They just give you a means to access your financial institution by a piece of plastic. So, I don't know how many other cards are out there, but those are the three main ones, and those are the only ones so far that have agreed to 100% adopt this code.
Visa hasn't though.
Visa has whatever I know exactly what you're talking about, and what they said is this is a dangerous way, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they still have adopted it.
Mm-hmm.
They say that they're not going to report all this stuff, and they're not trying to flag a bunch of people. They're not trying to cause all that, but it's not up to them. It's not up to them. It's the bank that's going to flag these transactions, and that's going to say, hey, this is suspicious. They're just giving the banks the means to do it.
Now, honestly, too, I can guarantee right now, if I walk into a gun store that I can swipe my card at, it's going to get flagged. Because it's only like once or twice a year that I'm actually spending $1,000 purchase. I'm poor. I don't normally make a lot of $1,000 plus purchases.
That's a different kind of flag.
Right, but my bank already. It doesn't matter if I go to the gun store and I spend $1,500. It's going to get flagged because Tyler doesn't spend $1,500 often. So that's already a thing, and it aggravates me because that's like your mom going like, "Hey, can you really afford that, kid? Like, can you do that?" And now that it's another layer on top of it. So now I don't often make $1,000+ purchases. Then when I do make $1,000+ purchase, it's going to be a flag because it's at a gun store.
You get 2 red flags.
I'm getting 2 red flags.
2 red flags.
No checkers.
What if that, depending on how fast they do it, what if that when that code goes through, decline? So you just paid for your background check, you did all your paperwork for a background check, and then you're about to drop $1,500 and you're gonna swipe your card, but since it's a code that they don't like, they're going to decline your transaction. You have the money for it, but who's to say that they won't decline the transaction because it's above the numbers that they like, and or exceeds what their expectation is.
Their definition of suspicious.
You buy 1,000 rounds and it ends up being more than what they want, so that they're going to decline the transaction because they don't want you buying that. Then that's a really big problem, because if you have the money for it and you're trying to buy it and they say no, that's going to ruin everything.
So there's another part of this that I heard about that one other person brought up. I can't remember exactly who it was. It was a kind of a big YouTuber, but so obviously what's going to happen here, right, is all these people that are worried about their purchases, their big purchases, or their gun store purchases being tracked and flagged and all this, is you're going to see a huge influx of cash purchases. You're still going to see the people that go say, well, screw this, Walmart doesn't flag me, I'm going to go to Walmart. Cabela's doesn't flag me, I'm going to go to Cabela's. Sure, that's going to hurt their business, but there's actually another thing that most people aren't going to think about with this that is also a roundabout way, whether they knew this was going to happen or not, that's going to hurt these smaller shops, is they're going to be cash rich, which means that they're going to have a shit ton of cash on hand pretty much every day. They do 5 gun sales a day. That is a huge target for thieves, people who want to rob. A lot of thieves, they know which stores are cash rich and are not cash rich.
Based on a gun shop, though, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna be stupid to
But
rob
guess
a
what?
gun.
You're right.
It's been done.
You're right.
Yeah,
But-
it's been done.
But that still is going to bring more violence to these gun stores, which is going to have more reciprocated violence, which is now going to be used that, gun stores are shooting people who are entering their stores. This is another way to use tragedies, basically articulated situations
Yeah.
as
Yeah, arise
tragedies
an
to
emotional
bring
response.
more gun control
We
around.
definitely talked
So-
about a lot of
And then
that.
you also got to remember, you're going to have the people in the parking lot that may, I know Tyler is kind of one of those people that feels like he needs to let them know, hey, I'm going to bring a gun in here, even if he's concealed carrying or something like that. Sometimes I don't know if you always take that up, but some people are very. When you brought one in to sell, you're like, hey, I'm bring a gun in here, and you tell them.
yeah.
It's a respect thing. You're right. But a lot of people are not that way, but a lot of people are that way. So maybe they don't bring a concealed carry to a gun store. And they're walking from their car to the store. Somebody's waiting in between the car to the store because, hey, that person looks like they have money. They're probably going to make a big cash purchase. There's a pretty good chance of that. Now they're going to get hit on the way to the door. So now you're creating all these avenues of violence and robbery that weren't there before. If once these people start to understand what's going on.
To kind of piggyback right on the back of that right there, a lot of people are going to try to circumvent this, whether they're afraid of the government or they don't want anybody knowing their business, because privacy is definitely being stolen in this, and it is as we go further into the future. But this is going to cause, in my opinion, I'm going to try to say this very carefully, it's going to cause almost a black market. It's going to cause a black market to where, well, no, because the black market now is because of criminals selling their guns illegally. So now once Americans become too scared to buy guns, don't get it wrong, we're not going to stop buying guns. We're either going to buy them or we're going to make them or we're going to take them. So once you get to a certain point to where you're making American people scared to follow the law either changes or it gets gone around. Prohibition, the war on drugs since when, the early 70s, and it's never ending. So this will be another never ending thing, and then it's just another ploy to turn law-abiding citizens into a criminal.
Absolutely.
If I have to feel obligated to buy a gun cash from a reputable dealer somewhere where I could just go and supposed to swipe my card and do all the things right, then why wouldn't I just go buy my gun from the guy down the street and get a better deal on it anyways? A lot of people are going to go that way, and I know that sounds ugly. Please, we don't advocate for anything like that, but it's going to cause that. Right, wrong, or indifferent, there's going to be people who are scared of it and still want to be protected and defended buying guns and stuff like that. I think it's going to cause, it's going to push us into being the bad gun owners and dirty deals out in the parking lot and shit like that. It's going to paint us a certain way, whether we like it or not in the future.
It's going to turn us into 18-year-olds again.
Yeah. The fact that they're grouping us, they're already trying to group us, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to corral this whole entire group into this one place, in this one spot.
And we've always noticed it, since the day that we started walking into gun stores, all of us, so there's half of the people in the United States who are against us just because I just went and bought a shotgun. So just the fact that I am a firearm owner, I know there's people already against me. So I'm already feel relegated and it's only been further intensified since we started this channel, since we started doing YouTube, since we started going on social media. Once you realize that it really seems like the world is against you, it's just this is another one of those things that's a lash on our back in a way as gun owners.
I'm surprised the ATF hasn't shown up to our door.
No, we haven't even done anything that was worth that. So everybody who just kind of heard that whole little ramble, I wouldn't be afraid so much. I understand your point of view because that's what you see on the TV, that's what you see all over social media and other news outlets and things like that. But we are called the silent majority for a reason. We don't care to go online and scream about our opinions and screw the other side and stuff like that. If you guys do it, that's you guys, right? But like I know myself, I personally, on my personal social medias, I have stopped posting for years now because I just don't see the point of throwing a bunch of, spewing a bunch of shit all over the internet that's going to rile up a bunch of people. If it's a funny meme or something like that, or a funny picture, I'll send it to y'all because I don't care what other people's opinions are. I don't care if they get mad at me or not.
I like
y'all,
eyes.
I like to make y'all chuckle.
I love
you know what I mean?
eyes.
But it's just not me. I don't care about it anymore. anymore. So realistically, what you're seeing online is not half the country. It's not even a third of the country, in my opinion. Most people who are either that aren't like, pro Second Amendment or gun owners of themselves, they either just are kind of like, those can stay over there. Or I don't know anything about it, or they're just not a part of my life, so I don't really care if they are here or not. Not everybody's screaming, take everybody's guns kill people, like pencils misspell words. Like,
I mean, according to the numbers, more people are getting the guns than ever.
I know, there's been, over 10 million new gun owners in the last couple of years.
And so it's great.
It's cool. And if any of you guys are new gun owners within the last couple of years, we welcome you. We thank you for being new gun owners, and thank you for watching this channel.
All right, guys, and if you're a new gun owner, go ahead and check out Legal Heat. They have classes for you to go ahead and get your concealed carry permit.
Use the code GWB Tactical down in the description below. Get your discount and get to your class.
Definitely go give those guys a like. We've been using them literally since we've been in high school, since the day that we've had firearms, going hunting, camping, being young. We've definitely had them in our back pocket. They've definitely been watching our back. So always remember, guys,
Who's got your six?